Another one of those videos starting off downstairs, freezing my balls off because it is cold. Washington hates me. I'm in the basement and I got all the doors closed and I'm still freezing. But it is what it is. We're gonna get some progress done today on some random stuff. And by random stuff, I mean intercooler piping. Why not? Before we start on this next piece of intercooler piping over here though, and we go with the step-by-step process of how to powder coat this stuff, two things. One, obviously we have to get a little sandblasting going, and I am sick and tired of my sandblasting cabinet making everything. This is clean. I have gone through and cleaned the floor. I've done everything I can think of. And this is the crazy part, is after like a week of using this thing, that's how much dust is on the ground. That's what, 3/4 of the way full of dust and a little bit of media because I cleaned some up. But to prevent that from dust going everywhere and getting on all of my stuff constantly, I've got an Eastwood dust collector. So we're gonna take this dust collector, we're gonna go ahead and install it, and we're also gonna talk about plans to modify the booth a little bit. I don't know. I'm thinking of extending it out just a ways, and then possibly putting some doors, or I don't know, like a sheet. I don't know. Let's get this thing hung up and get it all situated, figure it out, and then we'll go from there. Then start powder coating some. I don't know. We're rambling now. Let's stop. What do we say about that besides, one, it's the next day because that took forever. I had to wait for the wife. And two, yeah, I guess time to start doing some powder coating. This thing will be, we're testing it out obviously today. I gotta slide this out so I can open the door all the way, but it seems great. When I turn it on, it creates a pretty positive, I guess it would be a negative pressure. I don't know. It's gonna suck the dust in the air, and how we can tell is watch what happens when I press it. I could do that 1,000 times over, and I actually have done that for like 10 minutes. But it's just so funny. So what that's doing is it's creating like a negative air charge. It's gonna keep the dust out of the air. I won't have to clean the screen and replace the stupid plastic that goes on the glass to keep it from being ruined as much. Also, praying to God there's not gonna be dust everywhere like there is constantly. And I mean, I was showing you guys the other day, this is just, look at this. This is all dust. I mean, everywhere you look is just a huge, just cloud of dust constantly from that thing. And that's with me always blasting with the window open. I usually have the window completely open, and then I have the door open too. So hopefully this dust cabinet makes a huge difference. Instead of rambling as I usually do, I say we get some work done. Starting a step-by-step process of this. I'll throw in the pictures of what these look like beforehand while I'm talking here, and yeah, I mean, they're clearly terrible. So what we have to do, number one process that I do, starting with outgassing, I obviously clean the part first, degrease anything I need to do like that. Then what I do is roughly a little hotter than we're going to be to make sure we get any, you know, impurities, oils, anything like that out of there. I did clean it as much as I could outside and inside beforehand, but you're only going to get so much. Being aluminum, it's going to suck up a lot of oils and just junk to begin with. It being on a diesel, it's going to be, you know, that much more. So what we do here, heat it up, throw it in the oven, let it get all the junk burned out up to the surface, etc. And then we'll pull it out and throw it in the sandblaster. Cracking the door a little bit here, so this is what I was saying. Obviously cleaned the holy crap out of this part, inside and out with some degreaser and everything I could do. It let it air dry and all that, and we saw a little bit of B-roll, but you're gonna see when I open this, yeah, it is smoking. Obviously, there's just some gross, it's aluminum. It's porous, it holds in its oils, it holds in its contamination, and with powder coating you don't want that to come out. You'll get bubbles, you'll get little spits and pops and stuff in your powder coating. I actually noticed some of that in some of the stuff I do, but to be honest I think it's a lot to do with the dust that gets up here. See, I can leave finger marks in the dust, and that's from powder coating, so I'm not quite sure we were talking about, me and the old lady were talking about what we're gonna do here, and I am definitely going to extend both front sides half of a sheet. So I'll buy one more sheet of drywall, I'll split it in half, and then we'll just go half-half. And then I'm going to build some sort of doors, and then I'm thinking of adding another fan here. Obviously drew it out already and everything, and that way we have some nice airflow, be able to close it all in. We'll be getting the dust and all the powder on the ground only, and then that way I can clean up also a lot easier without it getting everywhere. And down here is just becoming a mess between dealing with the sandblaster and then the powder coater, and I want to upgrade to a better compressor now, which will probably go over there and plumb them together. And you'd think, oh, it's going to be cheap, I'm going to start powder coating myself so I can, you know, save myself money in the long run, sandblasting, etc., etc., and then here you are thousands of dollars into powder coating. But I don't care. The result is so worth it. And once I can do bigger things sandblasting wise, I'll feel more confident in using the big boy 4x8 oven that's up there hiding, because I've only used that a couple times and that was a nice investment that just sits to waste. So I'm gonna go back to watching Boosted Boys, and we'll let this thing burn off a little more. So, obviously, quick, simple. I had already blasted it a little bit because I had to get some junk off of it. So it wasn't necessarily a full blast like I would have gone through and cleaned everything. Basically, I say basically, obviously, and so a lot, don't I? I try not to do that so much, Joe. Come on. What I'm trying to say is you want a uniform texture all the way across. And when you're done, you don't want oils or anything like that on the outside that you're just perfectly clean. Your hands are going to have oils all over them. You're going to get some oils on it touching it. Simple rag, some alcohol, acetone, something like that. Something to go ahead and just clean up all the yuck. And if you're like me, you're probably using, I swear, I'm the worst at talking on camera. Okay, if you're like me, you're an idiot, and you can't talk on camera, you're using Harbor Freight paper towels and Dollar Tree acetone or alcohol or something like that. You want to go through and make sure it's nice and clean everywhere you can. Get all the junk off that you can. And then what I do when I'm done is I go back over with a blowtorch and I blowtorch any area that I can. I'm trying to get a little schmutz right here.
2,000 years later.
Yeah, thinking the same thing too. Fucking dining chair, hoping you, yeah. So what I want to do here is I'm thinking some 1x1 up into a V. And that way I can actually get racks slid in a little easier. And since I'm using the home oven still downstairs, obviously I gotta make sure it fits in the confines of that rack so it's not touching the walls or the face of the back. So yeah, there's, if you're gonna do at-home stuff, obviously, like I'm doing, you have at-home access to, you know, whatever you need. But on the other hand, I am dying to start using the 4x8 more because yeah, I can just walk in and hang stuff on that one. So obviously this is gonna be some of the last stuff I do in the basement with the small things, you know. If now I'm just gonna start using excuses. I could have hung both of the intercooler piping and done both at one time in the big oven. That's what I'll do. So we got it rigged up here. Got your ground clamp to your copper. Excuse the loud fans sucking in and keeping my lungs free of all this bleh. But yeah, so we got our copper rod hanging up. You can use steel hooks, whatever. You ground the piece however you can. I don't want to put the ground clamp directly onto the piece in this case because it will leave a mark, so I have it on the rod. Got this guy rigged. Use roughly, I think I'm at about 6 PSI, maybe a little bit more. And then I just use the Quick Tips cheat sheet that Prismatic and Columbia provide. This one is a Columbia sheet. So 70 to 80 kV for my first coat, which is going to be my Illusion Blueberry in this case. That's the color we're using there. I think it's beautiful and it's going to go with the truck pretty well, especially with all the other things that we're going to be doing to it. So obviously, why not toss a little in on the Intercooler. Get this piece done. I'll clean both of them out a little more on the inside, and then we'll actually go install it before we finish this video out and talk about the last couple things. I say there's nothing to it but to do it. Yeah, let's do that. Get some sprayed angles, some B-roll, some stuff like that. I'm gonna be really careful because last time I did this, I coated the camera in powder, which sucked. So I'm trying to get some different angles this time. Powder, I'm nervous as usual. I don't know why. I've done like 10 things now. I mean, not a lot, but enough where I feel confident to know what I'm doing. So shouldn't be as nervous. Let's just get this done. Watch me, it just ruined all this footage with just glitter all over the screen. I tried cleaning it the best I could, but who knows. Okay, a few minutes have elapsed. I'm gonna go ahead and temperature check it real quick. This sucks because it's a reflective color, so getting a nice, good reading is a pain in the butt. Says about 370. Okay, that's an inaccurate temp because obviously we're reading, it's about 350, all right. So we'll give it another minute or two, and then we're gonna pull it out. We'll let it cool down, because we're at the flow out stage now. We'll pull it out, we'll let it cool down. We'll rig it back up over there. We have the clear set up. We got it bled out. Basically, I just hook it all up and then spray some on the ground just to make sure I'm not getting any blue that I can visually, you know, see. So I just spray for like 30 seconds. It'll waste some powder, but whatever, not even 30 seconds. Threw the wide mouth on, and using the Quick Tips second coat, we set our KV up to 110, so we cranked our knob a little bit, and while spraying on the ground we looked, we were like 104-ish, so we'll adjust that. Like I said, we'll rig you guys back up for another quickie little time lapse. We will shoot this in clear coat, which is gonna blow a bunch of people away because now it's gonna be complete, it won't look the same. I mean, obviously we saw what it looked like. Now the sneak peek real quick, you know. They don't look anything the same right now, that's for sure. And then when we spray it in a second, it's not gonna look anything the same then, so. We'll get you guys rigged up, we'll get the time lapse going, and get this ready for round 2. Now the waiting game. Get the part to 380. My brain is so fried right now. I almost dropped it in the middle of pulling it out and had to like shove my fingers on the inside of a 380-degree piece and just hold it for a second, which, oh, it sucked so bad. But yeah, so the PMT part metal temperature, I think is what it's called. I have to get the part actually itself to 380 degrees. Then we start an 18-minute clock. The clear will go through, we'll let it cure out, we'll pull it out. Do a quick inside clean on both of them just because I don't want to put them on dirty. While that's happening, I want to run upstairs, go through the V-bands, or the T-bolt clamps I had. That's what, yeah, T-bolt clamps. And get the T-bolts because I know I had all the right ones for the random sized ends. Clean them up, maybe something like that, wipe them down with some alcohol. And then I'll see you guys in a second to check out this pipe and then put it all on the truck. we're getting the rain. Somehow misplaced some T-bolt clamps. I stole them for another project and just don't remember. I love it. It came out great. I'm so stoked. Obviously, figure out the intake and stuff like that, but before any of that can happen, gotta figure out the shocks. Looking at this, really hoping that shock lands out here somewhere, or I'll have to remake this pipe. Yeah. If I have to remake that pipe, I'm not gonna necessarily be mad because I have plenty of aluminum, I have powder coating, I have everything I need to do to remake it. We have the skill, we have the technology, we can rebuild. It's just making me realize I gotta stop putting this thing together until I get the front end done. I need to do the shocks and coilovers, or shocks and coilovers. I'm just so flustered now. Off camera, I looked at that thing for like 10 minutes, just staring at it, realizing that might have taken up some real estate I didn't want it to take up. Which if it did, it's no biggie. We can figure it out. I need to figure out the coilovers, which means probably using this one that I don't have the springs on right now as the ability to, you know, without any weight on it, be able to jack the truck up and, yeah, I'm annoyed with myself. I mean, it came out great. It looks beautiful. I'm super stoked. I mean, the truck, I could start the truck again. I need to make an intake now, but before I'm making the intake, I gotta do the coilovers. We gotta do towers. We gotta figure that out. We have the bars, we have the heims, we have every single piece to be able to put it together. We just need to actually put it together. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I need to run up and grab these laser cut pieces, and like I was saying, so I'm gonna get some 3/16 plate. I'll grab a mount. This will make life a little bit easier. So these are the mounts for the big heims, or for the big control arms. So where the big control arm goes from the diff to this, I'm pretty sure it's gonna sit a little offset of the frame. It's not gonna land, you know, we'll say it goes this way. It's not gonna land perfectly flush. I'm pretty sure they're gonna land like that. I'm not gonna just weld the mount to the frame. I don't think that's a sturdy enough setup. So I will take a piece of plate, and we'll obviously put the plate in, triangulate it, figure all that out, but that's for a different time. I now need to start squaring the diff up. Once the diff is squared and we know it's sitting where we want it to, the axle's forward or backwards how we need it to, etc. Let's just start making the mounts. We'll do a video on getting the steering, the pan hard, everything figured out, cycling the suspension and all that. And then, if you notice behind a baby seat, I got some new goodies set up for the truck. So, lots of stuff to do. Feels like never enough time. But that's the average Joe way. A million different projects. And a deadline that's never actually there, but always feels like it's impending. Like I said, I got a bunch of stuff for wife's truck ready. The truck does run and drive now. We needed a new radiator, so I did order a new radiator on eBay. I got compressors, I have a tank, I have lines, I have everything to do the air ride, so we'll be doing air ride and all that. I got the steps ready to bolt the steps back on, but now I gotta clean up all of this mess that me and the dogs made together, I guess, somehow. With that, it's been a long day for me. I'm gonna let you guys go. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Roll down to the comments below and make fun of me for just sucking, because today feels like I sucked. Today's gonna be one of those videos that I watch over when I'm done and like, ugh. But it is what it is. With that, I'm gonna come stare at this some more. I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good weekend, guys. Average Joe Builds. We're out of here.